You don't just shut down. These people, it's their income. These people are cleaning up. They are helping you to clean your town because they are picking up the waste. They are translating this waste to money, and it's going to be repurposed to whatever. So we can't just shut down.
Hello, and welcome to season 2 of Not Wasting a Single Story. My name is Dr. Gamochirai Mutezo, and I am still your hostess with the mostest. Quick recap. This podcast is for you, and you, to inspire you to shift your mind and see opportunities, not just within the waste management space, but overall sustainability space. We will have guests from all walks of life, different industries coming through to share how they've perceived the concept of sustainability and, importantly, the opportunities and areas of growth that we can certainly see over the next 5 to 10 years. Today, I'm joined by a really good friend I've known for the longest time. He is a town and regional planner, but we haven't seen each other in over 10 years. And it borderline took the green couch to get us to this stage. Ladies and gents, help me welcome Tobela. Hey, to the left, to the right. I think that's how the song went, right?
Yeah, that's how it went.
That one.
That was ages ago.
Hey, our age has just been.
Wasn't our age now. Wow.
Awesome. Welcome to the Green Couch team.
Thank you so much, Madam Waste, Dr. G. It's truly an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And I mean, we're learning a lot from your platform. So it's truly appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, really, really great to have you on the couch. As we are unpacking and shifting mindsets, right? There's so much that we can look at within the town and regional planning space, especially around waste, energy, and overall sustainability matters. But before we do that, I would like to get to know you a little more, and I'm sure our audience would also like to know. Who is Tobela?
Yes. Well, my full names are Tobela Twala.
Yeah, man. That's half the page.
I'm a young man all the way from the Eastern Cape. I grew up in a small town called Ngemakwe. So yes, then I went to high school in East London, and then I came to do varsity in Pretoria. That's where you and I met. And we used to have those inspiring conversations, and look at us now.
Yay.
So yes, growing up, I grew up in a sort of like a peri-urban, sort of like rural setting where we did subsistence farming. So I've got green fingers,
Okay, interesting.
And I used to go to my parents, both my parents, they are from rural areas. So you would go there and also see a lot of what has been happening in that regard. And that has been like my first, not to elaborate much now, but yeah, it's been my first encounter of waste management and sustainability and so forth. Yeah.
All right, great. And tell me, between your shift from Eastern Cape to the Gauteng province, those principles that you've just mentioned, the exposure that you had to agriculture and waste management, did you bring them with you to the City of Gold?
Well, you see, that's the thing. That's the divide. Because the urban space, like Pretoria or Joburg, I mean, highly urbanized areas, it would really be difficult to bring cow dung here. What are you going to do with it?
We'll talk you about that a bit later.
Or maybe some weeds you plucked out, you want to use for manure or something like that. So the urban space is very much, it's like it's two ends of the bar, where I come from and where we are staying. It's two completely different worlds, and our children are being raised here.
Yeah.
So that actually, because I had a very strong rural background, but now our children are getting a very urban perspective. So that's something that, I mean, with us having Madam Waste now, we are trying to explore those opportunities, particularly in the urban space.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay, this really, really is going to make our conversation wholesome, because as a town planner, looking at all the urbanization trends that are happening, not just in South Africa, but across the continent. If we're saying we can't bring cows to the city, I'm sure we'll still have the issues of waste management. And it's really a matter of what are we going to do about it? But we won't get into the professional side yet. I'm still curious to pick your brain about your upbringing and so forth. These agricultural activities and waste management activities that you did, Did you do them because your parents said so, or did you do them because it was just a normal thing to do?
Hmm. That's a good question. It was a way of life.
Interesting.
Yes, for me growing up, that was just how my life was. If I
Yeah.
was not at school, on Saturdays when there's nothing happening, my mom wakes up early, so we go to the garden. I stayed with my mom. When we went to my mom's home, as I was also okay, so at home it was more on the what you call the planting, subsistence farming,
Yes.
right? So that sustainability part of it, where you are not buying the spinach, and we also actually even sold spinach.
Mm.
So there was a informal trade type of thing going on there, and my mom is a professional teacher. Well,
Yes.
she's retired now, so at the time. So as much as yeah, where she's in that space. So going to my mom's home now, it was quite rural, So there, and I remember the early memories. There was no electricity at the time,
Yes.
so things like energy was either you are using a gas stove, you are using cow dung. If you're using if it's dry, I didn't know that actually it's equivalent to coal. You just put it there, you cook with it, and it
Yeah.
was actually quite the heat that comes from there. Funny enough, it's
Yes.
quite powerful
Yes.
you know
Yes.
so yes, and because I remember even in terms of, I don't know if maybe you will know this, there was like they were called backboard, but it's baking pot in
Yes.
English, right? You'll put dough in it, and then you'll cover it with this dry cow dung, and
Yes.
it's now coal, and it produces this nice
Mm.
bread.
Mm.
So that's the early memories of growing up. If you're plucking out weeds, as you are preparing your garden,
Yeah.
those weeds can be reused,
Yeah.
for many things. Even I remember even with the maize, the dry maize branches and stuff like that can be used, repurposed in other things.
Yes.
So I had a very organic and a very raw, exposure to this. And obviously, as a child, you don't know what this means. It's only when you are older and then you come to University of Pretoria, and then they are telling you these terms of repurposing, recycling, reusing, sustainability, waste, or your ecology and all those things. You're like, oh wow, okay, this is what it is. You are able then to give it a phrase, to give it a name.
Yeah.
But it was a way of life growing up, really.
I really, really like that you've used that phrase way of life, because from the previous season, what we noted as well with our waste champions and sustainability advocates is that traditional ecological knowledge is something that we all grow up with.
Yes,
So,
tradition
circularity, sustainability, and all of these wonderful
terms.
concepts and
Yeah.
terms, it's nothing new under the sun.
Uh-huh.
We've always been doing it. It reminds me of that Vodacom ad, I've been doing it. I don't remember what they were advertising, but it's always been there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you are just reiterating that it's always been there for us. And that in itself is presenting an opportunity not to reinvent the wheel, but go back to basics.
And I think just picking up on what you are saying, we must also now unpack the negativity that came after democracy.
Okay.
Because after democracy now there was this shift of let's develop, go to school, whatever that comes from school is the ultimate,
Yes.
or the principle. But it's like now when you look at some things like cow dung, they are associated with poverty and miseducation, or you are underdeveloped. But that's I don't know what you call it with the cow dung, because they do say, what is it, nitrates or something like that are there. Those are things that we are studying in universities,
Yes.
but there's a negative perception about it.
Yeah.
It's aligned to poverty, and that's something that shouldn't be the case, because we need those now. These fossil fuels are making us sick.
Yeah.
We are mining, we're digging everywhere. It's unsustainable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I'd see that there's an opportunity for us to raise our kids differently.
Oh, yes.
Sons, daughters, nephews, and nieces. Are you practicing any sustainability initiatives in your house?
Well, I am guilty as charged. That's the thing with the urban spaces. I mean, the arable land that was vast at home. There's huge gardens there, but here, we live in pockets of land.
Yes.
It's there's always land is a very scarce resource in the urban spaces.
Yes.
So those are things that we really have to start being intentional about, because I mean that knowledge that I had as a kid, I still have it. I still know sustainability and waste management and all, and I still know it. I don't have to study a book about it. I know what has to be done.
It was
right?
a way of life.
It was a way of life. It's
Yeah.
part of my core. So I just have to just merely share that with my children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you heard it. He says he's going to share it with his children. So before season 2 ends, we'll ask him to come back and give us an update. All right, that
Yeah.
is interesting to note. This way of life, I suppose, is going to be the highlight of this particular episode for me. Way of life, way of life, way of life. Bringing it into the professional space, as a professional planner, what are your typical roles and responsibilities? And importantly, in all your years of work,
Yeah.
to what extent have you been, I suppose, given a canvas to intentionally plan some of these sustainability initiatives within our cities?
Yes, thank you so much. As a professional town planner, I've been fortunate enough to partake in the government space primarily, national government. That's where I actually got a lot of my training.
Okay, which department?
National Department of Public Works.
All right.
So I was quite exposed because I'm this inquisitive person, just like you.
Yeah, liker of things.
So I was moved around in the department and until I was exposed to like presidential projects, for example.
Yes.
There was the Sunny Pass, border removal or relocation project, which was a presidential project because we're looking at the border posts. That the Drakensberg is actually a heritage site,
Yes.
right? So there's a lot of ecological and sustainable factors there that you look at environmental management, so I got an exposure in that regard. But in terms of waste management, we just do the basics where if maybe you've got a project where you're doing a township establishment, obviously you have to comply because of if you are building a building that's going to cater maybe 100 people,
Yes.
that what translates to how much waste is going to be produced, what type of activities are you going to do, even things like the EIA, for example, environmental management plans and all those things. So it not really like core, but I think recently, because I've been fortunate to be employed at a South African Local Government Association.
That's SALGA.
SALGA, yes, absolutely. So to my surprise, they're actually quite heavily vested, in the SDGs, waste management. Well, actually, everything that has to do with the municipalities. We are trying to look at sustainability issues, environmental management. Just for example, now on Friday, when was it? Yes, on Friday, I was at Bronkhorstspruit. It's quite surprising because at least now I'm working at SALGA, so I'm actually the big brother of the municipalities.
Yes.
The councillors actually do listen to us.
Yes.
They trust us. I'm the only professional town planner whom the councillors in the municipalities can actually listen to. Otherwise, if you're a private consultant, they completely just shut down, even with their own technicians or technocrats within.
Yes.
So there was we actually taken to a site visit on Friday where there's this recycling thing where people are, almost we call them amapara, right?
Yes,
we
yes.
disrespect the people, but actually that's informal sector,
Mhm,
right? Those guys, they are doing a good job of collecting cardboards, plastics, and all those things, and they are, repurposing them, taking them back to the people that actually do those whatever recyclings. So they were actually using a site, a municipal site, which is close to the river. So obviously there's EIA matters there.
Yeah.
So surprisingly enough now, the guy who's in charge of waste management in the municipality says to us, okay, guys, we're actually going to shut down these guys because whatever that they're doing, it's illegal. Myself now from SALGA and the private consultant, funny enough, we are both town planners. We're like, okay, but wait, you don't just shut down. These people, it's their income. These people are cleaning up. They are helping you to clean your town because they are picking up the waste. They are translating this waste to money, and it's going to be repurposed, whatever. So we can't just shut down. As municipalities, we have to partner with these people. We have to assist them.
Yes.
Maybe there are properties or sites that the municipality has that should be repurposed for that particular. But the guy just said, we're going to shut them down. And unfortunately, that is the type of attitude we are dealing with.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about now councillors. This is now a professional. This is a waste management specialist in the municipality.
Yes.
This person is supposed to be now conscious of what is happening around them and providing solutions that are workable for everybody.
Yes.
Instead of shutting down an income, for the informal sector. So, being at SALGA, it's a blessing for me.
Yeah.
There's even the SDGs, right, of the United Nations. There's even an SDG unit at our national office. There's a colleague of mine.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a colleague of mine you must invite, Tebogo Matlo. He's brilliant. The people that you meet at SALGA, I'm just thinking that, okay, I think I've always hoped I can work with people like this, people who are just passionate about government, especially at the local government sphere, because that's where service delivery happens. That's where everything happens. Waste is actually collected at local government level. So I think bringing it now to town planning, right? Because we should bring it now to us, right? As town planning, we can have this conversation that we are actually far behind, to be honest.
That's a painful truth. It's a painful truth.
The last level we've left it at is, we said there's environmental planning. I think that's the last we left. I didn't hear of sustainability planners. You hear it globally, but in South Africa, I don't hear of sustainability planners. And you coined the term of energy urban planning, for example. Everything starts with planning.
Yes.
Everything starts with a plan, and a plan has to be informed by what's happening around you. So you don't have, you can't say waste is a problem. Waste is an opportunity, right?
It's like you rehearsed for this podcast. You said all the right things.
Waste is an opportunity. And as town planners, ours is not to just allocate land for a landfill and then we've done our work. We actually haven't started. Allocating a land for landfill, that's not where land is just another thing. But have we incorporated in our SDFs, in our precinct plans?
Yes.
Gamu, have we incorporated waste management and repurposing and that sustainability element? Have we engaged with stakeholders that are addressing? Because we as especially technical planners, they just think that as land use management, just allocate a site for landfill. Once it's filled, we look at another site, right? But how about town planners actually start engaging the conversation around energy producing, like incinerators, for example, where we can actually take this solid waste. I mean, we heard of examples like Singapore and I think some of the Asian countries are leading in such things.
Yeah.
But it's quite brilliant where they take solid waste, the one that we see in the trucks, right? It's taken in those incinerators, it's burnt at high temperatures.
Yes.
And surprisingly enough, the air that's taken out of there is actually not polluting. Surprisingly enough, like it has been filtered and all sorts of processes.
Yeah.
But through that incinerating process, you are generating energy, electricity. I was actually, as I was preparing to come here yesterday, I saw a video from Singapore.
Yeah.
Where they were saying that one facility of an incinerator actually supports 240,000 households. Right? Let's break it down now, Gamu. Okay, let's say so the 240,000 households, how many people are we talking here? So let's say on average, a household is what? How many people maybe?
Let's say 4 or 5.
Exactly. Okay, let's say 5 people, right? So 240 multiplied by 5. You are looking at just over 1 million people that you are catering for. You're providing electricity for those people. From the very same waste that they are giving you, you are repurposing that. You are redirecting that back to them in a form of energy. And it's clean energy.
I'm really, really delighted with everything that you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And it's now a matter of how does this translate into the planning profession?
Yes.
Because like you rightfully say, planners are the ones who play a critical role in demarcating sites, whether it's underdeveloped sites that need gentrification, or even new sites. As urbanization happens, where is this waste going to go? And so that's an area that I would like to see the profession continuing to have.
Absolutely.
Because even when we submit those township establishment applications, do we ask what happens to the waste, or even urban agriculture?
Yeah. Do we incorporate those?
Yeah.
At the urban agriculture thing you were talking about there, at the Planning Africa conference last year, one of our site visits was actually these places where in the roofs of the buildings, the high-rise
vertical
buildings.
farming.
That yes, you've
Yes.
got the terms, right?
Yeah.
So I mean that urban agriculture, because
Yeah.
we don't have land in the urban spaces. So how are we repurposing that?
Mm.
How are we? I mean, for example, we had a previous conversation about food. Like, is it Food Lovers Market? The
Yes.
person was coming. That waste that they get from peeling things, because sometimes they sell things that are peeled, right? And even from restaurants, that organic waste, that food waste, that's actually manure, that could be repurposed, and we provide it to these people in these sky gardens or whatever you call it. So I think as planners, it's really a matter of we have to do a mind shift, right?
Who's gonna shift the minds for us?
It's you and I. It's you and I. That's why we are having this
episode, please, because something needs to happen.
Yes.
We need to play our part there.
This conversation right now, we are urging planners to actually look beyond the scope of okay, let's look at the traditional or the common planning scopes that you have there. You've got your land use management, you've got your spatial planning, you've got your strategic planning, you've got your environmental planning, you've got your there's so many
well, to name a few.
But now, I mean, you are coming now with urban, what is it? Energy urban planning.
Yeah.
Energy urban planning.
Yes.
So as planners now, you are being intentional to actually say, guys, let's plan in a way that we are going to actually create energy. Apparently we've got an energy crisis in South Africa. We've got a water crisis in South Africa. And now we've got a waste crisis in South Africa.
Yes.
But we actually don't have any crisis in South Africa. We just have poor planning.
Yeah.
We have fragmented professionals across the board. A person says, look, I'm a town planner. I'm just going to do the SDF, right? I'm just going to do the SDF for you. It's going to be approved by the council. And then that's it. Cocta is going to be pleased with me. Then I get my salary. I'm done. But we actually need to widen our views and our scopes as planners, because we are planning for the people.
Yes.
We're not planning for the plan just to produce a plan.
Yeah.
And can I touch on something that I think I need to emphasize on? And thank you so much for this opportunity once again.
Yes.
As part of the Spluma Act, right? There's something.
Define Spluma just for guests who might not have.
Yes. The Special Planning and Land Use Management Act. It was done. I think it's 2013 Act, right?
Yes.
So this is now the Bible of town planning. This is the blue book,
yes,
call it, of planning. It actually tells us how are you supposed to do planning within municipalities, and it's quite an exceptional act, right? I just have to give it to the processes that were put into by DALRAD. They are the custodian.
DALRAD being
Department of Agriculture and Land Reform. Yes, I like that. And then also SACPlan, is our council, because they've been working in partnership, and also SAPI us,
Yes.
So all these stakeholders making sure that we come up with this Spluma Act, right? There's actually one element that as planners we've been short-serving. I think it's section 21 of the Spluma Act, where it says that they must actually be tied to the SDF, right? As much as the Spluma looks at the schemes and the bylaws and, and everything else related to planning with the Spluma principles,
yes,
right? Or the development principles. But there's also the capital expenditure framework.
Yes.
That is actually urged, right? That's like a business financial component now. Because here's what we are trying to do here. The Spluma Act is actually saying that, okay, you can create the spatial development framework, which is a plan essentially, right? A spatial plan. But have you connected it to a capital, to financing, right?
Catalyst to enable it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because as long as you don't have that capital expenditure framework as part of your SDF, it's just a pie in the sky.
Yeah.
How are the councillors going to connect that to implementation?
Yeah.
But it is there. You see, that's a part that Spluma actually doesn't consider. And I've been fortunate. You see, these are the things that I've learned by being at SALGA.
Yes.
Because we actually did an SDF review process there. So essentially now the SDF is the plan. But now the moment you've got a capital expenditure framework, you're actually saying that, okay, these are the projects that we are going to do in the next 5 years, because it's a 5-year process, right?
Yes.
And then this is the capital. This is where we are going to get. This is how much they're going to cost. And then these are the people who are going to be funding. Either it's grants maybe, or the municipality itself, or maybe private sectors. So that's where, as town planners now, we need to actually expand, and it's not happening.
Okay, I want to leech on that point as we work towards winding down.
Yeah.
So the conversations that we have here, they certainly set the tone of our reality
Yes.
and what our future could look like. So for that young professional planner, for that technical planner, for that strategic planner who's wondering what's next within the space, can you provide 3 key areas, opportunities that they can look into?
Yes. Thank you so much for that question. Okay, we can't miss out the innovation and technology. So there's the drones that are coming in.
Yeah.
And Dalrat is actually driving
Interesting.
that. Yeah, the
Okay.
drones that will actually assist us because we need to survey what's happening.
Yes.
We need to be able to, because drone also assists, you connect it to GIS, it's able to then measure areas and so forth like that, or how much waste is being, those things, the statistical information that you want.
Okay.
Right. So technology and innovation, the drones, the apps, because there's that part of it. I think people call it technological planning, So, there's all these
Interesting.
terms that are coming up. So that's the one element of it.
Before we move to the second, basically, I could start a consulting enterprise.
Oh, yes.
Or I could develop some of these softwares
Oh,
that
yes,
planners need to utilize.
Yeah.
All of this encompassing AI and innovation.
And
Okay,
AI comes into play.
all right.
Yes.
So that's number one. I see
That's
the
number one. The second one then is that obviously then waste management, as you said, but I don't know how we can coin it, but I think sustainability planning, I think from a planning point of view, you are looking at sustainability and it covers everything, whether it's energy, waste, but sustainability planning
Yes.
is something that we need to be intentional about because we are building, the cities are actually just producing a lot of waste.
Yes.
We've got a lot of people. You touched on urbanization, so people are always going to be coming to the cities, regardless of maybe there's disinvestment out of the cities. It's always going to keep on happening because the jobs are in the city.
Okay, so to
Sustainability plan.
Again, find an opportunity out of it. It's now a question of offering consulting services along those lines.
Yes.
But would need to define what does sustainability planning actually entail.
And they need to define it for themselves based on the opportunities.
Okay. All right.
And then the last one, then I think the advocacy planning part of it. Because you and I, this is what we are doing here now.
Yeah.
We are being advocates. You are being an advocate. You are a professional planner, Gamu.
Yeah.
And you're also a waste management advocate.
Yeah.
So advocacy. Let's be the solutions, whether we are working with NGOs. I mean, there was Plan Act that we were talking about. They are doing amazing work under Mr. Mike. What's his name? Is it Makwela?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I get it wrong. But they are doing amazing work in terms of, there's even an innovative solution that they came up with. They call it the digital address system for people who are staying in I nearly said squatter camps, in informal settlements because they don't have formal physical addresses.
Yes.
When you call an ambulance, how are you going to direct them? Are you going to say, I'm in the shack, that is after the shack, that is blue in color?
See by that tree there. Yeah, there's this big tree.
There's a fire taking place. Yeah, and the fire goes out.
Yeah.
How do you then, and how do those young people there find employment, for example?
Yes.
How do they apply for bank accounts?
Yes.
So they came up with this amazing thing called the digital address, So those are the things where we have to now as planners be intentional and be advocates. And I can mention the names of our young people, Panache and also Juliet and Kumbulani. They are quite young, but they are quite intentional. That's the next generation behind us, that's coming up. So we have to be, as planners, we have to be advocates, we have to start now engaging in the real conversation. And I think, maybe I'd like to reach out particularly to the local municipalities. The planners in the local municipalities, majority of them, they are disgruntled, they are in despair because the councillors just cut them down and all those things. Or they depress them or they're against what they are coming with, right? Or they don't understand. For if you're a town planner in the municipality, I'm looking at you right now, right? Approach SALGA. That's why we are here. Because through SALGA, then we are sort of like intervening between the technocrats in the municipality and the political leadership.
Yes.
So we've got our political structures where we actually bring in the councillors to say, guys, because we capacitate the counselors, we lobby them, into initiatives, and we school them, we train them as SALGA.
Yeah.
So I think, and a lot of people don't actually know about the South African Local Government Association, really. But we are actually the big brother. We are there to actually guide municipalities and to make sure that, they perform. We improve their audit outcomes, financial, many situations, whatever that they are addressing with. We train them, we workshop, we have workshops, we have sessions. And we also try to connect them to multiple stakeholders like your business, like your chamber of commerces and so forth.
Yeah. All right. As we come to the end of it, I also foresee an opportunity, let's say, for SALGA to keep telling the good story. And I'm sure you've met one or two people who can document those stories for you. Because if we don't see the good stories and we continue to be riddled by the bad ones, yes, certainly we are just going to feed the unfortunate reality of disentitlement. So every now and again, a Instagram what and a TikTok what, just showing the kind of work that you are doing within your organization. And a parting point, everything that you've said today is super, super exciting. The question is, will you share it with your kids? Will this be the conversations that you have around your dining room tables with your nephews and your nieces?
Yes, absolutely. Well, my children are very inquisitive. So they, even when I was coming here, Tata, what's a podcast?
Yeah. Right, don't worry, kids, you won't see it soon.
So I think that's, you did say that charity starts at home.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. Even the type of parents that we are, it shouldn't just end with with our jobs. It should go beyond that and with our communities. So absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, time is never enough. Like, it really is never enough when there's so many components of opportunity to unpack. For today, I will say thank you. But this is not the last time we have you on the green couch, because we've started a conversation that's going to shift mindsets within the planning professional.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Mr. T, until next time.
Thank you so much. And thank you, our colleagues and planners. Let's take up the baton. Thank you so much.
All right. Till next time. Ladies and gents, it's been an awesome conversation. I'm sure you are identifying pockets of opportunity. If you're not identifying them, then I don't know. I will pray for you. I will reach out to your ancestors and see if we can have a meeting. So it's really, really awesome to be back, to have season 2 going on. Look forward to more episodes and just ensure that we do not waste a single story of opportunity. Thank you.
I had my first job at 15. Yeah. Wasn't
You've
supposed to have been hired, but I was.
Okay.
So I'd gotten this incredible opportunity to work at a vertically integrated factory in China.